When the first of the doodlebugs flew over England, they were greeted with cries of horror and rage. V-1s and V-2s seemed like stupid, evil gifts that, despite the anti-aircraft lines, reached London with their cargo of ruin for so many families and death for so many English men and women. But the time had passed for England to lie back with gritted teeth, as it had when Coventry was bombed, because the aerodromes were empty. Now, from countless bases built at all four corners of the country, more air squadrons were taking off every day, each day more powerful and more deadly. Around them, above them, below them, swarms of mosquitoes were buzzing, the escort of fighters. And suddenly down there was Germany. Lookout posts were already on alert, telephones in action, orders traveling down the wires. A cleverly constructed, well-equipped, well-oiled machine was starting up. Rumors flashed over the takeoff strips. A Lancaster spotted to the west, a flying fortress to the west. And squadrons with black crosses, like the ones that had flown over London, set off to defend the skies of the Reich. Deadly dramas have no voice, but in all those cockpits, where eyes were on the lookout, there was a sudden silence. They'd arrived. Earlier, Goering had been able to say that enemy aircraft will never fly over the German fatherland. But that was a long time ago. Now the hum of Lancasters had won the historic war of words. City after city was on the alert. In listening stations deep inside Germany, faces were beginning to tense at the growl, swelling by the second like the voice of vengeance itself. On maps, positions were becoming more precise. Slowly, it was becoming a certainty. Menace over Berlin. Before, Berlin had laughed at the alerts, at the time of Warsaw, Rotterdam, Belgrade and London. But Berlin had stopped laughing some time ago, since the alert procedures became automatic, since there was no longer time to clear away the rubble from one alert to the next, since there were radio apologies 10 times a day because the program was interrupted for technical reasons. London had its revenge. The whole of Berlin piled into the shelters. Perhaps, in those days, when there were as many as 17 alerts, Berliners spared a thought for Londoners. Only at the anti-aircraft centre were their eyes still open, the eyes of women, taking the roll call of batteries. The menace had arrived. Sad batteries that howled at the moon like dogs. What do you expect to stop? It's over a year since you stopped anything. The most attention you'll get from the squadron is a few tons of bombs. poor little balloons at the end of a string. What do you think you can stop? This is Berlin. No city in the world has suffered more bombardment. No city in the world has suffered greater punishment, because from Berlin came the greatest misery the world had ever seen. Berlin, that wanted might to triumph, is now dying because might has triumphed. It wanted women to die and children to cry. Now it knows how that feels. It wanted to rule over dead cities. Now it suffers its own agony with open wounds and spilled guts. God's justice be done. Berlin's final agony. 47 days and 47 nights of unending bombs and fire laid waste to Hitler's city. After the non-stop air offensive, the non-stop land offensive. Berlin's apocalyptic night came before the Allies entered. The capital of sin has passed through the fire of the Last Judgment, and Berlin, like Carthage, is destroyed.